Dust are settled in the final YCS before Max C 2.0 is here. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. Congrats to Team Samurai X1 for taking down the victory out here, but we have info that I wanted to talk about out of this event because I like getting a chance to look at the breakdown, show how things are doing. So your top 32 here. This is, that's a lot of Yubel, actually. Now, the thing that I want to point out to you about this YCS, not to take anything away from the accomplishments of the people here, but this was about 390 duelists sitting here. This was a glorified regional at best. Now, granted, the more competitive players are going to be present for this, and the challenge up through the top is going to be a lot harder than what some might have been having. So, yeah, I just wanted to clarify that because that's important. So 14 Yubel decks here in the top cut. You have very strong meta contender, damage reflection, fiend toolbox, combo up on your opponent, put your opponent in a bad position, say okay. All right, that's how that works. We had 4 Snake Eyes variants. This is also going to include the Fire King versions out here. Okay, we also had 4 Tenpai Dragons. So the big 3 are still walking around out here being terrifying menaces as they should be, all right? There's a reason why they are the scariest decks in the room. We had 2 Sprite variants make their way into Top Cut. Now, I found this. This was really cool. Sprite was not something that I had initially kind of thought we would see out here. But to see that Sprite has even got this representation is actually really, really cool to see. And then we had 2 Drytron. You know, we just talked about Drytron from the last Kong's event, from the post-ban list and the showcasing of what Rage of the Abyss does on the meta. You got the chance to see Drytron go through and make these incredibly interesting boards, ending on a secret village lock. Now, I don't expect Drytron to be doing that same stuff here. I do, however, expect mechanically that you will probably see some of the ideas from that, like Drytron, you know, being able to draw the Majesty's Fiend, the standard control mechanisms that you're used to seeing in that matchup, or with that deck, I think were some very major key driving forces here. And then, of course, we had 2 Runic stun decks. They did it. And then, of course, in our other section here, we have Kashtira, we have Purely, we also have Ritual Beast, okay. And we also had Jesse Kahn playing Crystal Beast Snake Eye. I am very curious to see that idea when it does get published online. But you know what? Small YCSs, small miracles can happen. You get the chance to see some cool ideas. Now we shift on into top 16 here. We lose a lot of the fun here, as I'm going to call it, because you have half of your playing field is Yubel. You are at 50% meta domination at this point in time with those numbers. I'm not a huge fan of that, but it's to be expected kind of with what you're dealing with here in the meta. All right, and then we had 3 Snake Eyes variations. Oh boy, it's still doing it. Snake Eyes is still here. Both of our Sprite duelists managed to find their way into top 16. I actually am very happy about that. That's really, really cool. Both of our Tenpai duels were still here, and Drytron still has a representative in this. Not only, we only lost 1 Drytron deck. I'm happy about that. Granted, I mean, this is just the early stages of, you know, the tournament, or, you know, in the Top Cut, but good job to Drytron at least making it to this stage. Now, all good things come to an end. Your top 8, 75% Yubel domination. Holy actual crap. This was a blowout in terms of numbers. Yeah, okay. We also had 1 Snake Eye and 1 Tenpai here. Like, that is crazy to me that you're looking at that much of a field of Yubel. But once you shift on into top 4 here, you lose 4 of those Yubel decks. Advancing is 2 Yubel, a Snake Eyes, and a Tenpai. And you guys already know the story here. It ends up being a Yubel on Yubel finals out here. And then, of course, Team Samurai X1 ends up winning the event with Yubel. So, looking at, this whole process through this tournament and how we got to where we got to, it's interesting. The rogue decks that were present were good. I like what I was seeing. Now let's pass on over to our deck list. Keep in mind I said our deck list. We only have one deck list out of this event, and this duelist actually posted it in the Sprite group. It's the reason why I got the chance to see this. I fully expect you'll have Sam's list out, you'll have Jesse Cotton's list out in the next 24 to 48 hours once people kind of start to get home and you get these things filmed. You'll have that info. I can only cover what's available at the time that we do these, and I'm doing it very early Monday morning here. So with that being said, though, I do see that we are playing the triple Perulia in this. This is really funny to me because, this card against Yubel is just kind of free draw central. Hey, you added a Dark Beckoning Beast. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and get my additional draw off of your normal summon. So there's 2. And you're probably going to slot this out for the other Mall Charmy, which is perfectly understandable. All right. I also am very happy to see that sprites were actually doing things. We also are still doing the Freezing Chains with the 1 Mirror Mage. I think that this combo is very, very strong. I mean, can we even call this a combo? The interactions that these 2 cards give you in this deck are really nice. I do see we were playing the Shifter. I've heard very mixed feelings about Shifter this format. Most people just tell me that Shifter is just a really awful card, and that's fine. Though, Shifter. Nibiru is the bad card. This is the good card. Sorry, I got confused there for a second. We have 1 good card, 1 bad card right now. And of course, we're still citing the OTK Enabler. Why would you not be playing the Gamma Burst? Like, the OTK Enabler is so stupid. Though I do like that we are back on the double cross out here, actually. Like, this is some really cute stuff. There's not a lot to, like, when you look at Sprite, a lot of the variants are going to look pretty solid. I think most of the card choices here look fine. Your standard hand traps are going to do things. Double Sprint's going to be pretty necessary out here. I actually do like this. I think most builds, actually up to this point, we're only playing 1 Sprint. So that's kind of interesting to think about, that you have that difference. Okay, 2 Sprint it is. I like that. Outside of that, standard list, good stuff. So, where do we go after YCS Cancun here? All right, this was your last YCS of this block of relevance, all right? We are heading on in to Rage of the Abyss here. Now, this is where we get the new Mall Charmy. This is where the game ramps back up the power creep in terms of expensiveness and value. And you're going to have, the player base is already really, really, really upset with how things are at the moment. Your major takeaways with heading into this format, Yubel is the master of the format. Yubel is the thing that's going to sit here and is going to attempt to gatekeep a lot of people. Especially very early thoughts heading on into this next season here. A lot of people are expecting Yubel to still be the best deck. I think that Azamina Snake Eye and Tenpai are, since we are getting, 6 new hand traps, being Impulse and the Fool of Warso, I think a deck like Yubel that does need its extra deck, being able to make Phantoms, you're touching your extra deck at least 3 to 4 times. So giving your opponent those resources and just making your life easier, and especially with a lot more people kind of looking at heading into a board breaker format with Dark Rulers, Evenleys, Droplets, these power cards, and Shifter's about to ramp up way more play as well. I think Shifter's going to be the boogeyman in this next format. All right, Shifter and Fool Wars. You think Fool Wars is the problem, but realistically, it's the fact that Shifter's going to be used in combination with these cards to, you're like, oh, well, I got Shifter, now I'm going to have to make a board. It's not going to be a good one, but hopefully it gets the game back to my turn. When you start to see that Mall Charmy on top of that, I think that's where a lot of these snowball issues are going to start to be seen by the player base. You know, Mall Charmings are broken cards. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now that we have two of them, the big one is going to warp our format. There's going to be so much displacement, I think, from this going forward. And, you know, we have an entire generation of people that hasn't been Max Seed yet. They're going to be like, oh, I've never been Max Seed before. It can't be that bad, right? Oh, you about to learn today. All right. So we'll see how the community plays underneath Max Seed at home. I think it's going to be a pretty big game changer, but Cancun is done. We're heading on into Rage of the Abyss. What do you guys think? Please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.